welcome to MPJ. It's the new rock album review show with me, Nigel, and my wonderful panel to Chris, to Simon, and to Trish. If you listen to the show for the first time, we review the latest rock albums, rate them out of 5. Will they get into our Hall of Fame? Will they get into our Album of the Year show? Tonight, today we are reviewing Legions of the Night and their album Darkness. Who are Legions of the Night? After a huge success of the debut album in 2020 during the pandemic, Sorrows a Cure, the sophomore release of Hell in 2022, the German-based power metal group now returns with a third full-length release, Darkness. Darkness continues exactly where the previous album stopped, and this new release, a typical power metal trademarks with huge melodies, powerful riffs, and catchy chorus present all over the release, which is topped by an incredible performance by singer Henning Basse. There's also getting stereo coverage by Savatage Classic on release tonight. He Grins Again. Darkness once again was masterminded by Dennis Köhne of Orden Ogan, Sodom, and Lacuna Coil. He was part of OO, okay? Just because I can't pronounce Ogan, okay? Whatever goddamn it is, alright? So there we go. Maybe that's what we're missing. That's my point. Anyway, Legions of the Darkness. Simon, let's start with you then. Have you heard of this German power metal band? Being a German power metal aficionado?
No. Showing my credentials there. No, I've never heard of them. Yeah, so this band's quite an interesting take on power metal. There's a variety of different stylings here. There's an array of approaches, and I quite enjoyed them. The band has this sort of melancholic overture to the whole album, but the songs still feel very sort of rich, and they display quite some impressive guitar work and this sort of haunting piano at times. I have found it difficult to highlight any particular tracks, though. One moment sticks in my mind the most, and Let the River Flow was a real change of tempo. It's quite a nice sort of reprieve and quite a beautiful piece. Overall, the album was interesting with a lot of talent on display. I'm kind of curious to see what else they do.
Chris, what did you think? Legions of the Night?
So kind of like Simon, I've not heard of them before. It's another big stomping, epic sounding album from. We seem to have done a lot of German or European certainly metal this month, which is great. No problem with that at all. I find it interesting that Simon mentioned sort of a tempo change because frankly, I think there were 4 of them in the first track alone, and that's kind of what really gave me trouble listening to this album. It just feels like. It either feels like there should be about 25 tracks on there, and it should be broken down a bit more so that you can do those tempo changes. Or they just had an awful lot they wanted to do, but none of it was big enough for a single track, so they collided a few things together. Which it works, but you have to expect it to then be able to understand what they're trying to do with the album. The other problem I had with it was that the vocals for me don't really mesh as well as I was hoping. I can definitely hear that there are 2 different singers, or there's certainly where they're trying to harmonise. It doesn't work as well as it could do, so you then get this kind of disparity between 2 different vocalists, and so things like I think it's The Witches Are Burning is a particular song where that just kind of shows up, and it just kind of it left me feeling I'm not sure that I'm enjoying listening to this one. I will say, for the sake of argument, they do avoid any tracks that are more than 7 minutes long, which I think is one of the only albums this month that does. So that there's none that feel particularly overly long or overly drawn out, but partly that might be because they keep changing the tempos around and switching things up and down. It was an interesting listen, but I'm not as keen to see what else they end up doing as Simon might be.
Trish, power metal, surely your cup of tea, maybe, or not?
So. For a start, the album cover is amazing, and this made me look forward with anticipation what I was going to hear. But I was not keen on the opening track. It was way too heavy for my listening. But then second Rebirth, I really enjoyed and would have preferred this as the opening track. However, after this, the album lost my interest. It was just too heavy on the guitar and drums for me to appreciate the vocals and what was being sung. So much so that I couldn't finish the album, which is a shame and something I try not to do. Sorry, I'm sure, though, this is a good offering for their fans.
You're right, and they've got another fan. This is an absolutely stupendous album. It really is absolute. The storytelling in this album is off the flipping charts. I liked more heavier melodic kind of sound, and this goes against everything that we were saying about Orden. In terms of its kind of blandness, in terms of its like one-trick pony. This had so many tricks up to it, and its storytelling was just off the charts. It really was. Rebirth, I Don't See the Light, Leave Me, the tempo changes in the whole album. It really took you on a journey, and you have to immerse yourself into that as well. It did take a few listens, and it gradually got, for me, it was like 3 albums stayed on my like, I'm just going to keep listening to these albums this month, which was obviously Powerwolf Visions and this album as well, which I just had constantly then kind of, once I've listened to all the albums, I tick them off, that's off, and then I'm left with the cream. And this was certainly up there with Visions in terms of its storytelling. It wasn't as commercial. It's not more, say, commercial as kind of Visions of Atlantis or Powerwolf. But it's an incredibly immersive album, and you know where I tend to go, like, I like my variation, I like it to take me on a journey, and this did, honestly, phenomenal album, absolutely phenomenal, off the charts in terms of its storytelling. But I understand, I get it if you if you can't immerse yourself into that style of music, but yeah, brilliant, can't wait to see what Legions of the Darkness do, Legions of the Night do again. I thought it was just, got to be up there, one of my favourite albums of the year. Brilliant. Shock of shocks. Well, let's find out. Will it get into a Hall of Fame? Will it? How will it compare? Will it get into our Album of the Year show? Let's find out. Simon, what did you think? What out of 5?
Pretty solid 4.
Cool. Cuddy?
I got a 3 from me, I'm afraid.
Trish?
Numero uno.
Shocking.
1.
Genuinely quite shocked, because also Will also give it a 1, which is obviously...
Wow.
Yeah, I know, right?
My boy.
Do you know what?
Mummy Trish.
It's quite funny, really, because I give it a 5. No shock, it got a 5 out of me. And do you know, sometimes when you're really passionate about something, but other people don't, and you respect that, kind of disappointed, but I understood. I'm not criticising anybody for their marks. I'm just going like, but honestly, this is such a great album. But obviously, people, don't kind of feel the same. But anyway, there we go. Unfortunately, only a 2.8 because of those 2 1s. 301st out of 416, 89th out of 106 album of the year. But hey, you've got 2 flag bearers in me and Simon. Okay, as and normally, Simon, when we agree on something and they come back, they've always done better. Collateral, White Raven Down, that sort of stuff. That we've been up there flying the flag and. They've come good, but maybe, who knows? Maybe on this occasion they'll be good. But anyway, thank you very much for that wonderful panel, to Trish, to Chris, and to Simon. Thank you very much, and to Will. Goodbye, everybody. Good luck, and keep on rocking, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Like and subscribe.
Bye, favorite.